Well, it's official. Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns. Welcome aboard this afternoon. Big Sales here for a special edition of the National Football Show. We'll be doing an hour because JAKIB Media has a gigantic event tonight, the Maxwell Awards, which I am a proud voter in. And we will be hosting the awards tonight, and we're really looking forward to it and honored to be doing that fabulous event. And no question about it, really top notch too. You're talking superstars all over the place. Speaking of superstar, Cleveland has a superstar quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Isn't it funny that John McCain came on this program and he actually pointed towards Cleveland and said this: Deshaun Watson will never play in Cleveland. Said the front runners were Carolina and the Saints. They may have been, but something fell through. What was that? I'm going to throw this out to you here on Howie Roseman here. By the way, I do not pull off my position. The Philadelphia Eagles should have landed Deshaun Watson. I'm going to throw this out, and you tell me if this played into Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles' position when it came to going after Deshaun Watson. Character issue. It's a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million deal, which means this. They gave this guy nearly $15 million more in Cleveland than he was going to make on the new deal he had just signed 2 years ago. Amazing. They're putting him in the conversation with Aaron Rodgers now as the highest paid guy in the game. What pushed this deal away from Philadelphia? Was it character? You know, this is one of the reasons why your boy Howie Roseman passed on Jefferson and went with Jalen Reagor because he thought there was a character issue with Jefferson. I am convinced he didn't want to put up with the hassle of having to deal with all of these accusations. He'd rather not, and that's the least amount of resistance for your team, and it's the easiest path. I'm pissed off at Howie Roseman because he didn't get to the dinner table. I think the Eagles didn't get to the dinner table because you know why? They didn't want to. $80 million more than his previous extension that he signed with the Texans. Where were the Eagles? And don't tell me, but by the way, I'm finding out more that more teams did push away because of the character issue. The Giants were one of them. The Steelers were one of them. The Steelers would rather have Mitchell Trubisky than have Deshaun Watson. They'd rather have that and play football with that type of character representing the Steelers than Watson playing for them. The Browns pushed all of that aside. By the way, we were told, and they traded him in the AFC. Howie Roseman gets a 3-year contract extension for what? Hassan Reddick? Are you high? What a absolutely missed opportunity this offseason for the Philadelphia Eagles to put a stamp in the ground and a place in the NFL. And you know what? This will be a check on his resume as general manager. This is a miss. Dude, get to the freaking table. Make the chick say she doesn't want to date you. Man. Jalen Hurts, congratulations. You're in the world of mediocrity now. By the way, I'm not rooting against the kid to fail. I'm not one of those guys that go like this. Well, as soon as the kid sucks, I'm going to be cranking on the kid. That's not what I do. I like to be proven wrong. I do. I like to be proven wrong. But when you get proven wrong, when it comes to a trade deal that you were never in because you chose not to be in, dude. Congratulations, baby. Look at how they treated Matt Ryan, too, in Atlanta. They shit all over a former MVP. He was due $7.5 million today. And you know what they did? They pushed it back 4 days so this kid can make a decision. And now they're going to go back to Matt Ryan? Why should I ever in a million years treat an organization with respect? Fletcher Cox is going to sign a cheaper deal, come back on a 1-year deal. Hey, come back and play for less. We love you. No, you don't. I'm going somewhere else where I can win. Why would I treat the Eagles with that respect when you see how people like Matt Ryan are treated in the NFL? Yeah, Matt. Hey, Phillip, at least he got to the game. Anthony, great knowledge. Howie is 192-1 as GM of the team, which means he's average. He's average. What an absolutely missed opportunity. I wish to God people had come to me and said this. Hey, Sills, the Eagles were at the table. They had all the chips on the table. They had all the money. They were going to give him a new deal. And Deshaun just said no. Dion, Howie failed you. The Eagles were afraid of the off-the-field issues. That's what I'm being told. Yeah, Marcus. He's a Cleveland Brown. A Cleveland Brown. Whew. You know what? Think about this for a second. At least he wants to compete. That's what makes me go like this. Cleveland? Excuse me, John McClain of the Houston Chronicle. That's not in the South. Unless they've moved the state of Ohio next to Alabama. That's not the South, dork. He'll never play in Cleveland. You think he wants to go up to Cleveland and play? I guess you're wrong, Mr. Plugged In. Baker Mayfield is probably having a cardiac arrest somewhere now. Oh my God, real. Ah! Hey, good point, Marcus. Gee, funny. I thought, don't tell me the Eagles weren't in it. Or maybe, I don't know. Wasn't I told the Browns were out? So Jimmy Haslam got on his airplane. Wait a minute. Think about what the Eagles didn't do. Jimmy Haslam got on his jet, flew to Houston with every person in the front office to convince Deshaun Watson to want to play in Cleveland, and it worked. Did the owner of the Eagles get on a plane along with Howie and everybody in the front office go down and meet him? I sure hope so. Here's John McClain. Shows you how little I know. I thought Watson was going to the Falcons, and the Browns were the last team he'd want to play because of the conditions of throwing on Lake Erie. This is almost verbatim. This is almost verbatim what he said on my show. What a great job by the Browns, and the contract had a lot to do with it. If he would go to Cleveland, he would go to Philly. Howie, you failed. Howie Roseman failed. If that quarterback will freaking go to Cleveland, right next to Lake Erie, he would have went anywhere. You mean to tell me if Howie didn't offer him $230 million in guaranteed money? Remember I told you? Show the money. Put the draft choices up. The Eagles didn't want to do it. The Eagles didn't want to do this. Give it to the Browns. They were all in. Howie was half in. Sure, here's a pick. Here's a guy. I'm not giving you all three. He's now a member of the Cleveland Browns. If I were Philadelphia, I'd be asking this question. You mean to say he chose Cleveland over Philly? He didn't want to play in a cold weather place? Well, that turned out to be a lie. Cleveland tells me a lot. That other teams were afraid of the noise. And he got the money. The Eagles flinched. Their first offer sucked. Three first-rounders, a third, and a fifth, and nearly $50 million a year. Gets it done. Gee, 3 ones. Well, we could have did that this year. You could have given him one of your thirds, and you could have given him one of your fifths. Howie said no. Because Jalen's his boy, because he drafted him. I'm absolutely stunned. Okay. Just a note to Xander. Xander, Barrett's going to have to do it in his car because he's stuck in traffic. We're going to have Barrett Brooks at the bottom of the hour. Howie Roseman failed the Philadelphia Eagles. I will hold this against him as much as possible now. And now I question him with the draft picks and the rest of free agency. You think Allen Robinson ever thought of coming to Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts as a starting quarterback? All of you people that think that that was a possibility is a joke, because this guy's taken his talents to a team that's got a quarterback. Jesus, criminy, how disappointing can you be? You know what, too? Not only disappointed, but angered, because he wasn't all in. This guy was not all in. I did a poll here, too. Was Howie Roseman and the Eagles afraid of Deshaun Watson's off-the-field issues and didn't pursue the quarterback? It was 60-40. 60% of you said no, 40% said yes. That's all he needs is 60-40 to go, I'm not doing it. He stuck you with a guy you'll never win with. Oh, wait a minute. You'll compete with. But he stuck you with a dude. He stuck you with Tua. Man, you're never going to see a 20 in your lifetimes. Your lifetimes. You will never see a 26-year-old franchise quarterback on the market like that ever again. As long as you live, you will never see that. breaking how he extended, not Deshaun. No, I loved how he celebrated his contract extension. He cut Fletcher Cox. You know, in celebration, we had to have something big here. So let's cut Fletcher, you know, to honor my 3-year deal. $230 million, 80 more than the previous deal he signed 18 months ago. That's wanting somebody. When you want something bad enough, you go get it. So you know what Philly has to hope for now over the next, 10 years? That you fall into another Super Bowl. And you get some mysterious substitute teacher performance out of a guy like Foles again. And every other back in the playoffs gets hurt again. For you to be in that conversation. You're not in the Super Bowl conversation. You're about the 8th best team in the NFC. That's the weak conference of the two. Let's just do this. How do you think the Eagles offseason is going so far? Never a conversation for Von Miller. Okay? You were never a conversation for Chandler Jones. Positive. I'm not too positive. You let a franchise quarterback go, bro. Because you didn't want to get to the dinner table. Jay, what do you mean logic? If that guy will go to Cleveland, he went to Cleveland because Cleveland opened up the checkbook and Cleveland opened up the draft book. That's how he landed in Cleveland. He was actually looking for the best deal. And the Eagles were never going to give up their assets. They didn't want to. Cleveland. You know, I was under the impression this was going to be a regional decision. Playing at home, playing in Carolina, playing in Atlanta because he knows Arthur Blank, going maybe to New Orleans. None of that was true. Cleveland. If you'll play in Cleveland, you'll play in Detroit. You'll play in Chicago. He was looking for the best deal. How would an agent or a player turn down an additional $80 million to come and play? Why didn't the Eagles offer that? They weren't going to. Well, we're on a rookie contract with Jalen. And? Man says, calm down. Why? So you could suck out loud for the next 10 years? Watch this. You want to hear mark my words, and I'm going to make a prediction to you. Do you know how the Eagles' record is going to go? Okay? Do you know how the record's going to go? And by the way, this is the crew right here that Xander points me to. Calm down. We'll be okay. Dude, I wish we had a set of stands for those dudes. Here, you go sit over there. Get away from me. Because you know what? I want to win championships, not hats and T-shirts. I want parades. Okay? I like kissing the prom queen. Okay, you can kiss one of her favorite little friends. I don't want that. I wish they had a section at the link for all them dudes. Well, we got to the playoffs. You want to know what your record's going to be over the next 5 years? It's going to be like this. 8-9, 9-8. Okay, 7-10, 10-7. It's going to be like that. That's where you are, right there in that room. I mean, even stupid Skip Bayless said, why haven't the Eagles got into it? Has to be because of the stuff that's off the field. 3 more years of mediocrity. Absolutely, Paul. Dylan's right, man. We want another Broad Street parade. But we're powerless as fans. Go Birds. Dude, no. I'm not going. The fan base is the greatest. No. Howie was thinking too much for you. He didn't want that same stuff. And by the way, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Who was was Howie the general manager of the team that brought Michael Vick in? Was it Howie that was part of that? Was he the GM, or was Joe Banner still in the building? Help me out on that, on who the actual GM was, because Andy Reid was in the building, and I'm wondering who was really the GM. Oh, Joe Banner was. Joe Banner. Oh. Howie passes on Jefferson because of character. Howie passes on Deshaun because of character. Joe Banner was the guy. Oh. Okay. Oh, Andy brought in Vic. Now I get it. It's starting to have some clarity to it now. What a missed opportunity, man. And for all of us that really wanted Deshaun Watson to play in Philly, you know why we were all so sure that, including myself, I'm not speaking for anyone else. You know why I was so sure? Because you had the most to offer. And I was under the assumption you wanted to win a championship now. Not 5 years from now. Not building the team, finding an edge rusher, finding a linebacker. No, I wanted to find a wide receiver. Do you know he was out recruiting wide receivers to want to come and play with him while he was going through this process? His agent has been saying he's been talking to free agents on coming and playing for him wherever he lands. He's been out recruiting wide receivers. Not one receiver that's a free agent will pick the phone up and talk to Jalen over that. You're going to have to make a trade for a veteran. Nobody in their right mind is going to come and want to go to a team that gets me 4 targets and can't find Devontae. Fee says, now you can shut the F up about Deshaun, Sills. Absolutely not. Because you know why? Jalen Hurts will be compared to Deshaun Watson for the rest of his career now. The same way Carson Wentz will be. Okay? The same way Carson Wentz will be. Jalen's got to have a better career than Wentz. Don't let Wentz beat you on opening night at the Link. Okay? And again, this is not at the fans. This is more front office dudes. Those guys up there, those bullshit artists. Look at how the game of misinformation was played by 2 quarterbacks that landed at places that no one thought. Watch this. Pete Carroll, a month ago, we have no intention of trading. We have no intention at all in any way of trading in any way Russell Wilson. Following week, he was traded to the Denver Broncos. Cleveland Browns are officially out. Everyone reported it. I saw it too myself. I saw it go down on Twitter, and I saw it go down on all the wire services, and I was like, wow, the Browns are out. Okay, I guess it wasn't really real. They land in places that people reported would never happen, or a scenario that wouldn't happen for him playing there. This dude sounds crazy? You're damn right, dude. You know what you sound like? A snowflake. Hey, man, Jalen's our guy. Congratulations. And welcome to the world of 9-8. You know, why do you think I'm mad? because you had an opportunity. You don't let history pass you by. You will never have all the assets lined up for you. You had the whole galaxy lined up. Money, draft picks, opportunity, organization, and you didn't pull the ripcord on it? Because that's one of the MOs also of Howie Roseman. I ask you a question here. You think of Howie Roseman, let's play a Belichick game here. You think Howie Roseman, if he had given Drew Bledsoe $100 million and an $18 million signing bonus, and Drew Bledsoe was the first $100 million man, and some dude who had the same reputation as Gardner Minshew started winning games, and you guys were on your way to the Super Bowl, who would Howie put in? Tom Brady or Drew Bledsoe? My bet, he'd put Bledsoe back in. Because his reputation's on the money he gave him. And his ego along with it. Howie's ego's on Jalen. Look what I did with Jalen. I got $30 million, $38 million off the books. I got Wentz out of the building. I got a first rounder. It was more about him instead of the Eagles. Tell me I'm wrong. Jalen gave him collateral. Look what I did with Jalen. Went to the playoffs. Got rid of Wentz. Got a first. Wentz's deal, we're no longer on our deal. We're on a rookie contract. His reputation's on Jalen as a businessman. Tell me I'm wrong. And tell me if that's crazy. Delusional? Really? What's so delusional about what I'm saying? You were never at the table. You never put it on the table. How does Howie even address people in his own organization? Well, you don't think the Browns are a Super Bowl contending team now? I do. In a tough AFC. Poor little fool says I'm wrong. How? Seals, you have to remember that most people are mediocre because dude, you're correct. Most people in the world are C students. You are correct. Most people are C students. Seals, you have to remember that most people are mediocre because they don't know what it takes to win. They play it safe, and the Eagles just did that. D-Train, take of the day. Can't get any better than that. You can't get any better than that. Whew. So what now? An edge rusher? A safety? Great. What team do you think has a mediocre quarterback right now and on their roster that's a Super Bowl contender? Let's take a look at that. You think the Eagles are in – you think who would you take in a game, the Eagles or the Bills? This could be a dumb game here, so I don't know. I'll make stop. The Eagles or the Chiefs? You're not beating any of those two teams. The Eagles or the Broncos? You're not beating that team. The Eagles or the Chargers? You're not beating that team. The Eagles or the Raiders, who just got Devontae Adams? Talk about going all in. You're not beating the Raiders. Who else? Let me think. The 49ers. You're not beating the 49ers. You're not beating the Rams. You know what all those teams have in common? They have a big-time wideout and a big-time quarterback. They don't have just a dude. What dude on a great team is going to lead him to the Super Bowl? Show me where. What team in the NFL has the media? You think the Cowboys are ever going to win a Super Bowl with Dak? Don't bet on it. The team's overhyped. The quarterback's overhyped. They're married to each other, and it's a perfect story. It's a perfect story. Dak's mediocre. He ain't winning a Super Bowl with that guy. Give me another one. Show me a team that's a Super Bowl contending team that has an average quarterback. Show me. Well, if we build it here and we build up the old line and we get a better defense, we'll be in the land of mediocre. Hurts makes Dak look like Montana. Hurts is not better than Dak Prescott. Don't kid yourself. Hey, dude, I'm sorry about the stream if it's not, it's whatever. It's this crazy time of the day. I apologize. Let me take a time out. I want to talk to Barrett. We're going to get Barrett Brooks on here. I think Barrett's going to be in his car. So please hit the like button, guys. Boy, really, really sad news. All right, man. Keep it here on the National Football Show.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills here, and we'll talk to Barrett Brooks here in a minute. Again, don't forget, great event going on tonight here at JAKIB Media. We are hosting the Maxwell Awards. Pretty prestigious event too, folks. You're talking about some of the biggest names in sports are involved in this. And as I've told you before, I'm a voter on that. And I just absolutely love the fact that we are now connected at the hip here with the Maxwell Awards. So welcome aboard, and we appreciate it here. We're only going to be doing an hour here, And obviously the news of the day, and really without a doubt, the massive news here is that Deshaun Watson has chosen Cleveland. $230 million. $80 million more than his previously signed deal that he had with the Texans, at that extension that made him one of the highest paid guys in the league as it was. Now he's in Aaron Rodgers' room. That is absolutely amazing. Cleveland, you see, but Cleveland had to go all in after their crybaby quarterback started going out there, putting all that stuff up on social media. He had to have seen the writing on the wall. He had to have seen the writing on the wall. The bag of money was never going to land on the side of Baker Mayfield. It was going to land in Deshaun Watson's lap. You watched a guy crumble in front of you in Baker Mayfield. Get this. You talk about a shot in the face. This is it. Hey, Baker, we're getting a real quarterback in here now. Cleveland. And like I said to you, too, in the open, John McCain, who came on the program and told me he was the most plugged-in guy. Saints or Carolina? Saints or Carolina? You kidding me? He chose Cleveland. Came on my program and said he had one of his worst performances in his career in Cleveland at Paul Brown Stadium. That shows you what was out there wasn't true. So don't tell me that, we didn't have connections into what was going on. We just now found out, though, there's no question that, in my opinion, Howie Roseman didn't want to make the deal because of Deshaun Watson's character. This came down to character to him. It came out a couple weeks ago, didn't it, that the Eagles were looking at Russell Wilson. That makes sense because that fits Howie's MO. That fits Howie's MO. Good character guy, be a great representative. But when Russell Wilson said he didn't want to play on the East Coast, that alleviated everybody east of the Mississippi. He wanted to stay out west. Okay? Again, folks, my problem is never when a GM misses on a draft choice or he misses reaching on a free agent. I love proactive people. I love the people who take initiative. But when you're sitting back and you're giving a deal, maybe you didn't even get. I wonder now if the Eagles even gave a deal. You think how about this? And for the record, don't give me that shit any longer that he didn't want to play in Philly. Oh, I see. I don't want to play in Philly, but I'll play with that pretty tough fan base in Cleveland. That was a lie. Wilson saying that he never wanted to play in Philly was a lie. It was a lie. He chose Cleveland. Chose Cleveland. How about Devontae? Don't ever think you know what a player's going to think, too. Let me show you something else here. Everybody was so convinced that Devontae Adams was connected to Aaron Rodgers. Do you know what? You know why Devontae Adams left Green Bay? He left there because there's a quarterback in Las Vegas that he played college football with that he has more confidence that's going to be around for the next 10 years, and he is going to hitch himself next to Derek Carr instead of a guy who's waffling whether or not he's going to retire every year. Devontae Adams signs a 3-year contract or a 4-year contract in Green Bay. There's no guarantee that Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Green Bay for the next 4 years. Rodgers may have even told him that. There's no guarantee of that. That's why he left. He left because he didn't trust Rodgers. By the way, let me ask you this. He decides to play in Las Vegas with Derek Carr. He wants to play with Derek Carr, Davante Adams. He's leaving the reigning NFL MVP. You think Jalen can do that? You think Jalen can pick the phone up and call Julio Jones? Hey, come and play here. Howie Roseman, who you thought he is. He left because Rodgers was getting paid more than him. No, he left because he's not sure Rodgers is going to be around for the next 4 years. What if I sign a 3-year contract and Rodgers has an itch up his rear end again and decides this time to really call it a career? I'm stuck with Jordan Love? No, thank you. I'm out. No, thank you. No, thank you. I could go to Las Vegas now with Derek Carr and play 10 years with him. He wants to make the Hall of Fame, and he's in Vegas versus Green Bay. Boy, you talk about a culture shock. Green Bay, Wisconsin to Las Vegas, Nevada. Okay. Alonzo says, what the F is Howie doing to make us better? Hassan Reddick. Howie wants to be. Can I say something to you? Who's the most popular Eagle right now? Outside the city. Who's the most popular Eagle outside the city? Is it your GM? Is your GM the most popular name with the Eagles right now? Mulata, does anybody even know his name outside of Cleveland? Kelsey? Really? You think Kelsey's name, an offensive center, okay, an offensive center is known by an NFL fan in LA or Chicago? I say it's your GM. Who's the most popular Cowboy? It's Jerry Jones. When people who don't wear shoulder pads, okay, when people who don't wear shoulder pads are your most popular people, you got a problem. Man, getting choked up over this. This is the Packers and the Cowboys, too. You know what makes this argument even more disappointing? Is that the Packers and the Cowboys are now lesser of teams. They're lesser teams. The Cowboys, they lose Randy Gregory. They lose Amari Cooper. The Packers lose Davante Adams. The Niners may lose Garoppolo. Hell, maybe the Eagles will win the war of attrition. Maybe they'll be the last team standing. I don't know. They gave the kid an $80 million raise for being accused of 22 sexual assault cases. They gave him an $80 million raise. I should have known better because it's exactly what they did when they hired and signed Kareem Hunt after that situation in Kansas City. Cleveland doesn't care about that shit. They signed Kareem Hunt right out. Hey, you know, here's the difference between what they do, Jimmy Haslam in Cleveland, and what they do in Philly. You pass on Jefferson because of character issues, potentially, or allegedly, to take Jalen Reagor. Cleveland gives Deshaun Watson, who didn't play last year, a pay raise. Deshaun Watson got a pay raise for missing the year, and he was potentially this close to going to jail, and he got a pay raise. Only in the NFL could you see something like that. Only in the NFL. Dude, right. Crime pays. That's right, Carl. You have 22. How? And get this. Cleveland's now going to look to their fan base and some of the people and snowflakes that are in Cleveland, Ohio, and go, yeah, I know all those things, but you gave him a raise. You gave him a raise. No conduct clauses. You gave him a raise because it's guaranteed. You gave him a raise and guaranteed the money, even if he F's up. That's all in. How was that? I missed the whole year. Hey, Deshaun Watson had a hell of a year. He had the best year of any quarterback in the NFL. That was the best year. Didn't have to play. Still raised his value enough to get a $230 million deal. Whoa. Whoa. That's playing the game right. How's that for you, man? Deshaun Watson didn't play a lick of football last year, and he got an $80 million pay raise. But Philly, they worried about his character. He's got a great agent, I guess. M. Reyes says that $80 million would have really wrecked us. How? How? Why do I feel I got Deshaun Watson's little brother as my quarterback? See, Howie wants to be the star. He wants to be the star. Deshaun, I don't want to. I have to give up all my draft Porsches. That means I'm not here in the draft room. Got the cameras on me. Everyone watching me. My draft charts. 3 years, this guy's going to be great. 2 years, this guy will be great. You watch. This guy's going to be a sleeper guy. It's going to be a project. He'll be great in 4 years. This guy here, I'm debating on him. I'm not sure. So how long are we going to take to build a team, Howie? Oh, good 6 years. Oh. Okay. 6 years? Excuse me? The Browns got better overnight. How many times did you see Cleveland last year on 3rd and long hand the ball off? 100? That's when you knew they didn't have a quarterback because they didn't trust him on the turnover machine that he is. Cleveland knew after 60 starts what they had. They looked at it and went, okay, that's it. Hey, and then Howie, he's going to turn around and offer Fletcher Cox a 1-year contract. He's going to offer Fletcher a he's going to go, what could that possibly be? He's going to go from 18-2 to what? 8? 7? Well, aren't you loyal? Why should you be loyal? Aren't you watching what went on in Atlanta? How's Matt Ryan feel right now? Arthur Blank and the organization have to grovel back to Matt Ryan. Hey, Matt, do you still love us? Hey, Matt. That guy's a sympathetic figure now in Atlanta. Michael says, disagree, Sileo. We did have the assets and drafts, but he didn't want to. He didn't want to be here. Right. Michael, how do you believe he wanted to be in Cleveland over Philly. How? The reason he's in Cleveland, I got 230 million reasons why he wanted to be in Cleveland. Are you dumb? Dude. The bag of money always has somebody with a mouth in it going, come to me. How much you want me? So I'll give you $230 million and $80 million, almost $100 million raise. That's why he's in Cleveland. Let me tell you how they got him. They went to him and said this. Look, they overpaid. They overpaid because they had to, because it's Cleveland. Don't you understand my point? They overpaid. They knew that the Texans would take the 3-1s over an extended period of time. But when they went to Deshaun's people and said, we'll give you a new contract, we'll guarantee it all. This guy's got like the first full guaranteed contract I've ever seen. Are you under the impression that that $500 million contract that Patrick Mahomes signed is all guaranteed? It ain't. And there's a boatload of off-ramps for the Chiefs. If he starts underperforming it, they can bail on that thing. And B goes, are you stupid? What did I say that was wrong? Oh, my God. Hey, Jeremiah, if you're Odell Beckham, I'll go back to Cleveland. I'll go back to Cleveland. Oh, yeah. You got a different hero in Cleveland now. Adams. Hey, talk about Adams in Vegas. Raiders got great. By the way, say goodbye to Derek Carr thoughts. Why would Derek Carr leave to play with Devontae Smith when I've got Devontae Adams in the best division in football? Look how closer the Raiders are to the Super Bowl now. The Raiders are closer now. The Browns are closer. Look at all those teams that are hodgepodge in one bowl. Bills, Chargers. Why is it me? But how did every team in the AFC West get better? How did every team in the AFC West get better? Raiders got better. Broncos got better. Chiefs are going to improve because he's going to have another year under him. How did every team in that Chargers are definitely better. How did every team in that division get better? And I look at the NFC East and go, Carson Wentz has been added to the Commanders. And Hassan Reddick has been added to the Eagles. And the Gigantes are still nowhere, and the Cowboys lost 3 guys. And the primetime game for the NFC East is going to be Carson Wentz versus Jalen Hurts. That sounds like a MAC conference football game. Hey, what happens to Baker Mayfield? I don't know, man. I think when he leaves his preschool class today, I think somebody should put a mic in front of him. Really, I think somebody should ask him. Once he leaves the preschool class, somebody should ask him. Big Sills would have given up 15 first-rounders for the next 15 years for Watson. You mean like the Rams do? You mean like the Rams give up all their draft choices? How'd the Rams get Allen Robinson? Oh, yeah, see how that guy acts? Let's build it through the draft. Because you guys have been solid in the draft over the last couple of years. Oh, yeah, I mean, solid. Do you think the Rams care about draft picks? Rams give them all away. I don't want a Super Bowl. Yeah, you're right. You stick to that thing. Hey, in 5 years from now, Eagles are going to be great. So, like, wait, where are we now? So in 2027, Howie will be on the hot seat. Hey, with this plan, Howie's on the hot seat in 20. Oh, that's another thing. You know why Howie maybe didn't want to make this deal too? Automatically put you in the firing line if this thing don't work. Howie didn't want to put all of his reputation and all of his chips behind Deshaun. He was afraid. Something falls off, the guy gets arrested. Maybe he does it again. I don't know. Howie was afraid. This comes down to fear to me. Oh, by the way, you guys can quote me on that. Howie was afraid to put himself behind Deshaun Watson in Philly because of his character. That's a fact. Would you put what's this? I think it's a fair question. Would you put yourself and your job and your legacy and everything that you've accomplished on the line for Deshaun Watson? That's a fair question. I'm not sure. Hey, I'm not sure I wouldn't have paused. I'm not sure. Jeffy Casey says, yeah. Gary, yes. Man says, I wouldn't. Howie played it cheap and safe. I think Barrett's caught in traffic. It's all good. He's going to be at the event tonight, too, so it's all good. All good. Plus, we'll be back with him on Monday, so I can't wait to get his thoughts. It's all good. He's in bumper-to-bumper traffic, so it's all good. I wouldn't have done it, Drew says. I wouldn't have put Hey, Drew, I'm not going to criticize you because I think some people would pause. Think about where Howie is. Look at all the work he's done. Getting the draft capital, getting under the cap, getting out from Wentz, firing Doug Peterson, getting the team to the postseason, to put the team in a position where they are now. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of – he's getting a contract extension because of the environment he's living in now. Surely the owner went to him and said, what do you think we should do? Howie looked at him and said, I have a problem with this character. The same way he looked at the owner of the Eagles and said, I had a problem with the receiver Jefferson's issues. That tells me a lot about him. That tells me a lot about him. Okay? Howie was afraid. Hey, Sills, how do you know that Howie offered? Watson said he chose the Browns because they had the best roster. Really? They have the best roster. Who are their receivers again? They just lost Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham. They have a good O-line, not a better O-line than Philly. Really, you think Cleveland's roster is superior to the Eagles? They're probably a better defense. Okay, Myles Garrett, pass rusher. Okay. Ain't that much better. Bro, he went to Cleveland because of 230 million reasons. They put that bag of money on the table and everything looks good. Man, Cleveland is beautiful. Hey, let me show you some. Sills. Look at Cleveland. Is that 230 million for me? Oh, yeah. Cleveland's beautiful. I've never seen a city in my life. I've never seen a roster. Kevin Stefanski's the best freaking coach there is. Woo! Wow, man. Dog pound's back, baby. The dog pound is back. All right, guys, I really appreciate you guys coming aboard. We're only doing an hour today. Make sure you guys have a spectacular weekend. We'll be back on Monday. We'll be doing middle. And also we'll be doing the show here, the National Football Show. By the way, Bruce Arians is going to join us sometime either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. And we'll talk about him getting Brady back. Gary Cobb will join me on Monday. Mike Quick's also going to join us next week. If you're watching and you're part of the Maxwell Awards, should be a great night with JAKIB Media. We really appreciate everybody. Hit the like button. Till Monday, have a great weekend. We'll see you on the flip side.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.